I was born for this. I was born for this.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Get Manscaped as a gift for Valentine's Day, and he'll say I love you. Probably will, because this shit smells good. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in men's below the waist grooming, are here to give you the perfect gift for the men in your life. And y'all, I'm not even kidding. I just opened this up and it smells like a dude, like a hot dude, a dude who takes care of his man parts. I love a candle that smells like a man, like tobacco and lies. Okay, I'm not lying where I wasn't sure about this, but I can't stop smelling this. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, where'd my panties go? They're vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free. All right, so this is the Lawn Mower 3.0 trimmer, which has advanced skin-safe technology. It says to reduce grooming accidents, but basically this is good. So it's safe enough so you don't cut your balls. So go to manscaped.com and enter the CORK'D discount code. You get 20% off and free shipping, which I don't know what else to tell you guys. It's a pretty good deal. It's the perfect gift for your man, ladies, or anybody else in your life who could benefit from it. So we're going to get started on CORK'D Up. I'm here alone, solo today. Apparently, when you bring on somebody of Trevor Bauer's caliber, of a big, I guess, monetary amount as he did, setting records, Mama gets a little busy. So it's just Jess Kleinschmidt here today. And our wine word, usually Rach comes up with that, but with everything going on, I'm going to say Dodgers will be our wine word today because Mama wants to get a little lit. It's been a really crazy couple of weeks. Speaking of Dodgers, we have a lot to go over because of the fact that obviously Trevor agreed on a deal. He hasn't officially signed yet. That's just the journalist in me. You can't say sign until they physically signed or until the Dodgers tweet it out. That's my life, is waiting around for the Dodgers and like the big MLB accounts to actually tweet something out and then it becomes official. That's my life now. And it's just, it is what it is. So we're back for another episode. And I just want to hype up Mama Sita, Rachel Luba, because Mama fucking did it, dude. There's so much to talk about. So let's talk about this actual deal. So it's a $102 million deal over 3 years. There's opt-outs, of course, included in that. But the first 2 years, Trevor Bauer is going to be the highest paid baseball player in both 2021 and 2022. And the thing that I loved the most about this was, you know, Rachel was at the basis of all of it. And the thing that I liked even more was the fact that, well, first of all, I don't like when people are mean on social media because people like are the worst, but people were talking about the fact that Rachel was not a good agent. I'm quoting that because people literally said that, and so did Rachel, because she wasn't signing people right away. Here's the thing. If I wanted to get daddy money, daddy's going to wait, dude. To be the highest paid fucking player, yeah, I'm going to wait. Nobody was talking shit to Scott Boras when it took him forever to get Bryce Harper signed, right? No, nobody said shit. And when he waited until spring training to actually get signed, like we remember that, right? That's not a big deal. Not everybody's going to be a Giancarlo Stanton signing and signed at winter meetings, not to mention after a very unprecedented season. Like, chill. If I had to wait a little bit longer, I would wait. And I'm extremely impatient. Like, I mean, not when it comes to chicken nuggets, like you do that shit in the oven. Do not microwave chicken nuggets. It's a whole different podcast, but here we go. So I'm really proud of Rachel. And I think what she did was fantastic, to not only be the first female to represent a Cy Young Award winner as an agent, but, you know, setting records. And I think it's really cool. But it was at the very last minute, of course, it was down to the Dodgers and the Mets. And we all thought it was the Mets at the beginning, right? And Trevor was very open about his oopsie and the mistakes that were made from his marketing team as far as, you know, putting some of his swag out, a signed Mets hat, what have you. And that was kind of cool to watch. Kind of. I cover the Giants for a living, part-time, and that's going to be a really fun year going up against the Dodgers, but we'll tackle that in a second. But Trevor made it, you know, it was a mind fuck for me too. Trevor took to social media about it. He apologized. He admitted it was a mistake. Those things happen. And I really hated seeing what social media was saying, just because, but he took responsibility, and he even donated on behalf of places in New York, in Queens specifically, where of course the Mets play. And I saw a lot of it happen, and it was just it was intense. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was kind of sitting there like, what's going on? Rach did text me and was like, hey, we're still down to 2 teams. And so mind you, my mind was all over the place. And my favorite part was somebody joked with me at work, who I actually have to go through. And I said, wouldn't that be funny if like it was still the Dodgers, and somebody that I work with who's a big Giants fan was like, that's not going to happen. Like, Trevor would never. And then it happened. Mama, I had 2 articles written. I had one for the Mets, and then one kind of like, I don't really know what's going to happen. So I worked hard on my Mets article just to have Trevor sign with the Dodgers. It's fine. But for a fact, this year is going to be really fun. Not only am I going to be covering the Giants, but when they go up against the Dodgers, but Rachel Mamacita is a Giants fan. You want to talk about some drinking games we're going to have there. And I'm just really looking forward to it too. I feel like Giants fans, they wanted Trevor Bauer on their team. As much as people like to talk shit about Trevor, at the end of the day, if he signed with your team, you'd probably be stoked, right? Yes, that's why Mets fans are pissed off, is because at the end of the day, he didn't sign with y'all. So it is what it is. But we can move on. We can breathe a little bit more. Hopefully I get Rachel back soon. I miss her dearly. And it's done. I feel like we can actually breathe on that subject. On the flip side, like I said, there were 2 teams involved, the Dodgers and the Mets. The Mets have a lot to go over, and not just because of the Trevor links, and we do know it was down to those 2 teams, but Steve Cohen like came in there and just did shit. And I really appreciated that. Not only that, like, we're going to go over what like the transactions he's done like in a little bit, but I really liked how he was very transparent with fans. And it reminded me what Rach is doing too. She even said it's down to 2 teams, and had to retweet saying, once again, it's down to 2 teams. And Trevor was the person to 100% announce it. I think John Heyman was the first to leak the information or break the news, if you will. So I kind of really liked that. And just like me, who's a very authentic and transparent person, reminded me like, okay, I'm doing things right, and I'm responding to my followers, I'm responding to my fans. And so is Steve Cohen. He, of course, is no longer on Twitter because Twitter's fucking cesspool, and I totally respect that. I respect when people quit Twitter, because sometimes I wish I could too, but it's a big thing in my job. I think I need to catch up on my drinking. Just a second. And so I like what he was doing. I really loved how he swiftly came in and deleted, I guess you want to say fired Jared Porter for being disgusting. Here's the thing, y'all. If I'm going to talk to you guys about like deodorizing your balls, sit with me, gather around. Homeboys, if you're sending 62 text messages to a woman and she doesn't reply, your next thought should not be, let me send a dick pic. I don't care if you take care of yourself down there. Mama don't like. 100%. There wasn't one woman that said, oh, you know what? He sounds like a great guy. Not one woman said that. Not one man said that. The first person to text me was a man after all this to happen, just to apologize on the behalf of his species, if you will. Clean it up, guys. Don't be a Jared Porter. It's disgusting. The actual transactions that Cohen did do, we're going to talk about baseball now. I'm so sick of talking about men's penises. Like, we're over it. Start off with catcher James McCann. The thing that I loved about that was he's a former White Sox catcher, and every single pitcher that I've ever spoken to is just like lives and breathes James McCann. So I liked that addition. And McCann himself said, I liked what the Mets are building. Every single guy that got acquired by the Mets said they like what the Mets are doing. Trevor May was acquired. January kind of got a little intense. That trade that sent Steven Matz to the Blue Jays, that sucked. I really like Steven Matz, and it's very humbling. I remember one time at the Reno Aces, I think that's when the Mets AAA was the 51s in Vegas. So of course they're in Reno quite a bit. He was logging pitches, which to me, you see fucking Steven Matz logging pitches. It's very humbling, if you will. And I always like that, because it's like, yeah, cool. Like, you're this big ass pitcher and like on a really good team, and you're part of a really good rotation, but you're sitting up in the bleachers with me, homeboy. humbling, if you will. And of course, there was that big trade that brought Francisco Lindor and Cookie Carrasco to the Mets. And I just love that. You put Francisco Lindor on any team, mama's gonna pay attention. I love that guy. And I feel like it's so difficult to be a flamboyant and fun and out there player in New York. Even as a Yankee, I feel like it doesn't matter how much swag you have. They don't care. They just want you to win ball games, which is fine. Like think of Derek Jeter, right? Like he swaggy in his own way, but he was swaggy without even realizing it. And New York, of course, adored him. But you weren't, when you think of like sexying up baseball. Okay, that's not true. He literally sexed up baseball. Sexed up a lot of famous women too. But the swag really wasn't 100% there without like on purpose. But you think of Francisco Lindor with the bling and just being fun. And I've always wanted to interview Francisco Lindor. It's on my bucket list. And I feel like he's a part of a really great team. And to have Cookie on there too, I absolutely loved. And then naturally our minds go to, oh shit, Trevor would be great there from his time with the Indians. And I think I heard Lindor say Trevor's a great teammate. So hopefully y'all hold on to that. So those were kind of those main acquisitions, and that rotation is going to be good. Obviously without Trevor, I think it's still going to be a great rotation. Not as daddy of a rotation as the Dodgers is going to be. That's what's interesting too, because you have Clayton Kershaw. I'm just going to go back to that. I don't even care. I'm all over the damn place. You have Clayton Kershaw. You have Walker Buehler. I'm not even going to mention Trevor yet. David Price, and then Trevor, and then you have Julio Urias, and then you have Dustin May, who was like fucking shoving last season, and he might have to go to the bullpen, and Anthony as well. And you're like, that's not even everybody. Not to mention that collective ERA the Dodgers had last year. Them, the A's, and the Rays all had the best collective ERA out of the bullpen all season. And we know what the Rays and the Dodgers did. They made it to the World Series. So it's interesting to think that the bullpen just got that much better because they had to kick off some of the guys at the starting rotation. Like, all right, cool, not a big deal. But going back to the Mets, I'm very impressed with what Cohen did. And unfortunately, they don't get Trevor Bauer at the end of the day. But imagine what Trevor's going to do with the Dodgers. And I really appreciate what Trevor, Rachel, and Cohen. I feel like those types of guys, those people, we need more of that in baseball to be more transparent. And it's always interesting when I talk about Trevor because I'm a member of the media, right? And he sometimes skips over the media because he wants to be that guy who talks for himself. And I can't tell you the amount of times people have been talking about that over the last, couple of weeks. And I feel like that's so imperative to the game because he was the guy to make the announcement of the team where he was going in like a really dope ass video. Shout out Taiki Green and Scott Ohashi. And I feel like we need more of that. And there's so much pushback with him, and I don't understand that, but it is what it is. And same thing with me. Like if I'm authentic and I say what's on my mind, people kind of freak out with that. I don't give a shit. This is who I am. I just talked about balls for 2 or 3 minutes heading into this episode. Like I don't give a shit. So that's interesting from that dynamic. I don't know, but I think it's a really cool beginning because you get somebody who is in Hollywood now and he's open and he's himself and he's going to show what he wants the game to do. He's going to ruffle some feathers in the process, but I like that. And I think it's really cool. And you have Rachel, who is the same thing. She did it. Not only did she do it, but she like became part of history. And I think it was worth the wait. I know people got really upset that there wasn't any moves being made, but at the end of the day, she dealt it and she did it, and like let us follow her in the process. And that's what was really cool too, is we got to see the behind the scenes. And that's my favorite part of any part of my coverage, is like bringing fans into the clubhouse with me while I am interviewing these guys. And that's my favorite part as the reporter. Like you want to bring the fans with you, and you want to share that we're not trying to hide much from you. I mean, sometimes you need to keep stuff private, but I liked that she brought us along on the journey, because we're always curious about what the agents do. You know, me as a reporter, or just as like a, I don't know what you call me, a media personality, I like kind of take you on my ride with me, but not to that extent. And I feel like that was really, really cool. And we got to watch all of that go down. And then we got to see the behind the scenes of the actual video that was made. And that stressed Mama out, dude. Like, you know, with everything going on, and he still managed to make that video and like take us along with it. And, you know, he apologized to people, but like also stayed true to who he was. And I really appreciated that. So yeah, I'm very impressed with everything that was done, and feel like we can finally breathe. And there's still free agents that need to be signed, right? So maybe you guys should attack those agents that represent those players. Are they good agents because they didn't have their free agents signed? I don't know. Probably not, because y'all are just annoying and hate people. But that's okay. Anywho, thanks for tuning in. I wish I could drink more, but I just, talked the entire time. Don't forget to go to manscaped.com and put in that discount code CORK'D to get 20% off all of your manscaping needs. I am not lying. I'm going to smell this again. I'm going to put this on my pillow. I don't know how ball toner will be on your pillow, but it's good. But it's got active pH control, which is importante for men who don't know. And there's deodorant too. And I even have underwear and a shirt. Mama's going to wear that. Cheers. And I'll drink one more time. And I like to do that. And I'm going to pour one out for Rach because I miss her dearly. And I'm sorry that she wasn't here, but Mama handled it on her own. Peace.